Hey guys, Jimmy here. After much ado, I finally had the chance to test drive the 2022 Ford Bronco. Now, I wanted to make this video to help some of you maybe avoid making a mistake. So, I was on the fence about whether to order the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder, and I'd read a lot of forums talking about the 4-cylinder. As we know, it's in the Ford Ranger, it's in the Ford Mustang, and it seems to make quite a bit of power, right? It seems to be plenty sufficient to be able to move those vehicles and get them around and help them do what they need to do. Now, when I test drove this Ford Bronco, I wouldn't say I went into it expecting a lot because I did know that it was a 4-cylinder. So the particular version we drove was a 2022, I think it was like a Big Bend green, maybe 4-door soft top. Yeah, it was pretty ugly. But anyways, I test drove it for the point of figuring out the engine situation, and trying to feel how the engine felt. So after test driving the 4-cylinder and reading a lot of forums saying, does it have enough power? No, it doesn't. I'm just being honest. I have the 2.7 in my truck, and this was my first experience with the 2.3 liter. Now, will it tow? Probably. It probably will tow in the Ford Ranger. It probably does move in the Ford Mustang. But for the Bronco, I don't know if it's where it's maybe a little heavier. I don't really think it's much heavier than the Ranger, but it just didn't feel like enough. I mean, I put it to the floor, wide open in sport mode. So, for all of you out there saying, well, you should have went sport mode, I put it to the floor in sport mode from a stop, from a go. It just doesn't have it. Now, if you haven't experienced a 2.7 liter and all you've driven is the 4-cylinder, I could see where maybe you wouldn't know the difference. And I think that's kind of it. It's the same thing when I bought my motorcycle. I bought the Scout 60 instead of the Scout regular Scout with the 69 cubic inch engine, I believe now. It's been a while since I looked at those specs, but I probably don't know the difference because I never drove the bigger Scout. So I'm like, this thing's got plenty of power, Probably the same thing for you. If you're getting out of something slower and you get in the 4-cylinder Bronco, it's probably got enough power, but I'm just telling you, don't make the mistake and order that 4-cylinder because in the long term, you're not going to be happy with it. And also, I can't help but wonder, would the 4-cylinder stand up to off-roading? I don't think so. I think after time weighing down that engine, it's going to have to work harder to achieve the same horsepower as a 6-cylinder, as where a 6-cylinder just got it on tap, especially the 2.7. It's plenty of power, but I'm thinking it's probably going to wear out the engine a lot faster than it should. But the next question I want to address is 2-door or 4-door. So I didn't know whether to get the 2-door or whether to get the 4-door, but after much thought and after thinking about it, I'm definitely going to go for the 2-door. And the reason being, I did look at the 4-door. The 4-door does have the exterior doors where you can get in and out, so it's not as annoying. You don't have to lean the seats forward. And you do lose one seat going from the 4-door to the 2-door. The 4-door has that middle seat, if you want to call it a seat. But after watching videos and reading forums, it's actually only like a sixth of an inch more leg room in the 4-door. So if I see someone with a 4-door, I'm going to know that they didn't buy that as an enthusiast car. Maybe they have a family. They want it to be like a dual purpose. But looking at both vehicles, the 4-door kind of looks like a Hummer H3 or a Wrangler Sahara, and that's not what I want. I don't want someone to look at it from afar and be like, what kind of SUV is that? I want them to know it's a Bronco. It's the same thing. Could you imagine buying a 4-door Mustang? How unusual that would look, and be like, well, I have a family. Like, I get it, but maybe that's not the vehicle for you. You know what I mean? Like, if you want that kind of vehicle, maybe that's not what you should get. But that being said, if you buy the 4-door, I'm not going to hate on you. I'm not going to judge you, but I'll just know that you're probably not like as much of an off-road enthusiast, because it does stretch out the wheelbase. It does kind of look, I keep calling it a bus, and that's hyperbole, right? It's not that long, but it's pretty long. So you're going to sacrifice off-road performance. You're not going to be able to go in trails as tight. You're not going to be able to crest hills as easily because it's going to bottom out. So that's something to think about. They do have quite a bit of ground clearance, but I would hate to buy the Sasquatch 4-door and then, someone with the, let's say, regular, just base Bronco, with let's say it has like a rear locker or something, right? I know that's not offered. I know you have to get the Sasquatch, but I'm making the point that you have to go above and beyond with the 4-door to get it up to the capabilities of the 2-door. So if you buy we're going to say Black Diamond, right, that has the rear locker, and they have no Sasquatch package, and it's a 2-door, and you buy the 4-door, and then you get the Sasquatch package, you're probably going to perform about the same. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth, because that shorter wheelbase makes a big difference. That's why ATVs are so short. You know, they can go places trucks can't go because of that short wheelbase, even though they don't have the ground clearance. So, you know, you stretch it out, you crest hills, you're going to bottom out. And so, just wanted to make this video to help some of you, and hopefully in making your decision. You do lose trunk space in the two-door. That's something, you get like about half the trunk space, but you can lay the seats down. So I mean, if I really need to haul gear or something, I'll just lay the seats down. So yeah, that's my input on this, but as I said, definitely think it over and don't make the mistake of getting that 4-cylinder, because I'm telling you, it's not it. I mean, you're saving what? I think maybe $3,000, $2,000, something like that, because you have to add the cost of the 10-speed. But with the 10-speed, you also get different goat modes and all that. So just go for the 6-cylinder. That way you're happy. Don't wait all that time, spend all that money just to realize this vehicle is underpowered.